We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin.
On today, Faithful Acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is from Hoff and Pepper. Hoff and Pepper. It is the house sauce. And of course, featuring your everyday hot sauce. As I mentioned in the written review, available down in the description below. We've got, so they're going here for flavor. And this is basically a spiked version of their Hoff's original sauce. And there is, of course, a video for that as well. This is, I don't know how many variations they've done on that sauce. This is one, the Smoke and Ghost is one, and I think possibly there may be others. But the ones I've done, you can certainly check out on the blog if you want to read the written review. And of course, those will link to the videos as well. Probably the fastest and most convenient way to get to that. This one, of course, was on the Hot Ones as well, season 16. Probably pretty much up front in that season. I haven't looked at the exact positioning, but you can see here in the ingredients we have the jalapeno, habanero, chipotle, pepper blend of the original sauce, plus vinegar, plus garlic, plus salt, which those components are all in the original as well. And then additionally for this one, we have clover honey, black mustard seed, dill, and spices. But the spices are not named particularly. So the idea with this one, oh boy, are we even going to be able to read this? You know, you guys have a flask here, okay? If you're going to put verbiage like this is not the way to do it. Like, put it so it's at least somewhat legible. But anyway, so they're referencing the Germanic heritage of those additional ingredients I mentioned, and of course in the review I talked about this as well. Oh, the only thing that really applies to Germanic cuisine influences, in particularly, it would be the mustard part of that. So they're talking about going to the Munich beer hall during Oktoberfest. And the dill, I guess, is supposed to reference pickles. That's just foolishness. That's silly. And Bavaria here as well. So Bavaria, they mention brats, pretzels, and then they talk about wings, burgers, and it looks like fried chicken as well. And you know what? It does go on all those. This is a fairly flexible sauce. But again, the everyday sauce is meant to be ubiquitous. So, and this is just a spiked up version of that. You can see I've been kind of playing with this here as I've been talking. There are particulates in here. Garlic for sure. I don't know. Are we going to be able to see black mustard seed? Because I see peppers. I don't see any. This label is not going to be helpful for this, obviously. But I don't see any actual ground black pepper. Obviously, we wouldn't see honey. But I don't see dill in there either. Although I will say that this does have somewhat of a strong dill note to it. So there's a bottle. It's kind of weird. This one, agitation plays a huge role in what this sauce will lead with. Like when I just smelled it right there, I got mainly the actual everyday sauce itself. None of the other stuff. But you can see there is a lot of things in this sauce. It is not just the smooth, dominant red of the regular original sauce. You can see this one is actually tinting towards more of an orange. It's little bits and pieces. We can see some of the darker stuff, which is probably that black mustard. The lightening of color here, I think, is really kind of interesting. I'm not actually sure what effect that is from. The other sauce is quite a bit redder. It could be the honey playing an influence in there. It's not really. It doesn't really play an influence in, I don't think, either texture or in flavor, especially. But it might have lightened up the coloration somewhat. That could be where that's coming into play. But yeah, I mean, you can see it's a gorgeous sauce. It is really, really nice looking. And it does lend itself, I think, more towards a mustard sort of hue. Although most of the time when we think of mustard, we're generally thinking of, like a yellow mustard or maybe like a brown or a golden mustard. But definitely black mustard is certainly a thing over in Germany. So, all right, let's just get on into this and see what we have here. So the regular sauce, I got a lot of little bits of greediness in there. Which I'm thinking is actually the mustard starting to finally play a role in this. I have mentioned that in the written review as well. That, like I said, agitation is a huge, huge thing. I've gotten some of this that's been really dill forward, and I've gotten this particular one, for instance, was much more mustard forward. And this is really good. Like I said, at times I think this is the best variation of that original sauce. And at times I wish you wouldn't use dill. What I think the spices are is probably pickling spices. I think there's some of those ground up bits that wound up in there. I think that's actually what those are that are undefined. So very, very good though. This is an excellent tasting sauce. Definitely another strong sauce from the show. And I've started to revise my opinion about sauces from the show. A lot of them I have not found to be particularly impressive. But lately I've started to get into some that are really, really good. And there's quite a few of them. Like the Fuji Fire Native Bongo, I never would have experienced were it not for that show. So I think as a chili head, there is strong value to the hot ones, which is why I'm placing such an emphasis and somewhat of a focus on trying to, I guess, acknowledge and just bring some attention to my feelings on, my thoughts and feelings, I guess, on the sauces from the show. So, all right. I did mention pretzels, so what do we got here? We have a super pretzel, and we've got a hard pretzel. Super pretzel is from Super Pretzel. And I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of those. I just got those because I wanted to have a soft pretzel here for this. So there's something, I guess, let me just say this. The sauces themselves have a certain cost. I pay for almost everything that you see on this channel. But then there's also the ancillary stuff as well. Like, I wouldn't normally get this. This I got, like I said, just because I wanted to have a soft pretzel for the sauce. But, you figure that's, probably $6 right there for the package. And then the hard pretzels. So these are Snyder's of Hanover hard pretzels. This one, I love these. I've been enjoying these for, I've gotten mugs from them. I've been enjoying those, I would say, for probably over 40 years. I don't want to date myself too much, but I have loved these since I had them. These nice, thick pretzels, sourdough hard pretzels. These are money. These are outstanding. Definitely my favorite pretzel. So, all right, let's just throw some on here. I've been playing around with this sauce quite a bit. I like that it comes in flasks. As a reviewer, I like to have a lot of sauce to play around with to kind of get a good feel with. And this one I've certainly used fairly extensively. They mention a sweet aspect, and I guess if it's there, it's really low key. This is not what I would call a particularly sweet sauce. All right, so we're just gonna. The only thing I've ever dipped these in that I've liked has been like a hot cheese or a beer cheese. You could make a fantastic beer cheese. And Aaron and Michelle, if you're listening, you guys should put a beer cheese recipe that utilizes this. That would be money. You guys should definitely do that. I'm more than half tempted to come home with one myself, actually. You know, maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll do a beer cheese recipe with this. That'd be a lot of fun. I guess stay tuned to the channel. If I do, it'll be here. You know, I really like doing the cooking videos. Those are a lot of fun. This, by the way, is kind of a dumb thing to do. This doesn't work. We have two things that are really good separately. In this case, they don't interact at all. So we have still two things that are really good separately. Beer cheese recipe, guys. I know you Hoffs are kind of chefs. I mean, I think you're better poised to do it than me. I've never tried to make one before. Well, I am really tempted, like I said. Maybe for the winter. I can celebrate the holidays. First snow falling. So having a soft pretzel and some beer cheese, sitting in a bar, probably just some good suds, just watching the snow fall. That's a good time. Oh, these pretzels are terrible. This doesn't work either. It makes me want that beer cheese. I came up with it in my head, and now I actually wish it was like real. Well, I got a whole bag of super pretzels. I mean, I guess I could play around with it. These things don't work together at all. I love this sauce. It's really good. But in this setting, it sucks. The combination that is. The sauce is still good. Pretzels are still this mediocre nonsense. I was tempted to go. Here's your problem with going to a place that you get fresh pretzels at, right? A lot of times you just get bread that's braided, right? You don't get the actual pretzel experience, the boiling sodium and all that stuff. This is closer to the bread experience. They just make a half-hearted stab at pretzels, pretzel shaped. They have cheese stuffed ones. That probably would have been better. Wish I could have found them. All right. Well, that was very underwhelming, I must say. But you all didn't think me talking about having a dramatic heritage myself. You all didn't think, if you read the written review and heard me talk about that, you all didn't think for 1 second I was just going to have pretzels to snack food, did you? If you did, you were wrong, because I've got here. Yes, indeed. I've got some brats that I did fresh on the grill last night just for this occasion. So let's get on those brats. He makes it a point to mention sausage. And I'll tell you what, 90% of the time I had these with mustard. And I'll go through all kinds of different mustards with these. Sometimes I'll make a crab dog, you know, so mustard and sauerkraut. But yeah, generally I gotta have that. So when I saw it say, hey, put these on sausage, I said, all right. Hot sauce and brats, where brats have such a very distinctive taste, is something I never would have considered. And this works. It works all right. It's an interesting blending. I did not expect this to work as well as it does. Now, I think I would rather have a mustard than this, but and these are just I get lazy, so I just get sometimes I get the pre-cooked ones. These are the Johnsonville Stadium Brats. Reliable, consistent, they're solid. Are they better? Oh yeah, no question there. But I've also had worse. When I say lazy, I don't like my brats to be pink. Getting that fine balance where you're getting cooked, but you don't want overcooked either. That balance is taken pretty much out of these. These are obviously just boiled and then packaged. So all I'm really doing is frying the skin. Putting some color and caramelization on it. This is I might need a little bit of extra sauce. Bring that plate back. Here's how you tell if it's a good sauce, right? If you don't want to waste any of it. This is good. I'm never doing this again though. It's not, I mean, it's okay. It's just definitely not at all what I have in mind. I mean, we all have preferences, we have expectations, and this is interesting. It's a fun thing to try, to test a hot sauce, but I'm never doing this again. My strong preference is for actual mustard with this, but it's the thing that I do in the name of food experimentalism, right? I try new stuff, I keep an open mind. If I didn't have an open mind, I wouldn't be doing any of this for one thing, but I would never try one of my all-time favorite foods is sushi, Been missing out on some great culinary life experiences. And I don't know what it is that some people lose their open-mindedness when it comes to food. Which is, like, I suffered for it. It took me a while to figure out I was intolerant to onions. And it was a lot of running for the toilet to, heave-o, right? And eventually I got the picture that I didn't do that unless I was having onions or onion-based something. But it took a while, and it didn't turn me off from experimenting with different types of food, overall. And I think a lot of people, it's like nobody is born eating the foods that they happen to prefer. And I think that is one of the more valuable things. One of the lessons I urge you all to take heed, acolytes, which is to just keep that lust for trying new stuff out and new experiences intact as much as you can. You weren't born loving mac and cheese. You weren't born loving chicken strips. You weren't born loving burgers or hot dogs, right? Nobody was born liking any of that stuff. We all had to try every single food item for the first time at some point. And this sauce, I think, plays well into that because I never... in a zillion years would have dreamed of, trying this on brats. And partially it's because I really love brats and sauerkraut and mustard. That's one of my favorite things for pretty much from the job, right? It's not like I'm a small guy. Obviously, I love to eat, but this never would have occurred to me to put hot dogs on there simply because not so much I'm afraid of anything. I'm afraid of it being bad or anything like that, but more to the point where I just love the other combinations so much. There was a restaurant I used to go to where they had one thing I loved so much. It was a special they only did on certain days of the week. That I went there often enough and they knew me well enough that I would just always order that. It didn't matter whether it was that special day or not, just because I loved it so much. And the other stuff on their menu was really quite good. But I just love that combination so much. But I also don't ever want to feel like I'm tied into that to the point where I won't look around at all. Because like I said, you miss so much of what life has to offer if you do. But anyway, that philosophical note aside, here is the Hoff Haus hot sauce.
Now go forth in peace to serve the flame